Well, it's too cold to go outside today, so we're bringing the outdoors inside. And right now we're talking about, what are we talking about? These chilly temperatures, I'm going to read this again. These chilly temperatures and winter dormancy have most of us feeling cooped up and craving warmer temperatures and some greenery. So water expert Denise Hickey and horticulturist Patrick Dickinson are once again here to help us. So we're going to talk about some cool things that you brought. But first, we've kind of had a cold snap, and I thought maybe just be a good time to remind people, is there anything they should be taking care of in terms of their own horticulture at home?
Exactly correct, David. Outside, we don't want to forget about the outside, especially our irrigation systems. We still see some of those going off. We've had vast amounts of rainfall.
Not mine.
Thank you for having it off. But, you know, some people set it and forget it. And if they're still going off, that is a reminder that maybe their rain or freeze sensor is not operating properly.
And they may be overwatering if they're watering.
That is correct. And
January.
That's correct. That water would be wasted.
Yeah.
And as Kyle mentioned, we may be dropping below 32 degrees. So any of that runoff from that irrigation would turn to some cold, slick, icy patches on the sidewalks or out on the roadway, which could be very hazardous. So make sure you turn your irrigation system off.
Okay, no sprinklers. So we're going to talk terrariums, and I don't really know exactly what the definition of terrarium is. Sort of like, I would say sort of like a fish tank for a frog or something. Is that kind of right?
Well, that is a type of terrarium. Yes, that is it. We're talking about a plant terrarium.
Okay.
So what we're
no frogs.
No frogs. So what we're doing, well, I have some glass frogs. I don't know. Some decoration if that works for you. It's a little micro environment.
Okay.
So we're creating the soil and the temperatures and the humidity on the inside. So a lot of these can last for years.
Can we make one in 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to do that. Like for example, this one right here is mine. I've had 5 years. I haven't added water in 4.
And you brought, what?
Yes.
There's no water. You've added no water in that in 4 years?
You see the condensation? So what happens, the humidity builds up on the inside.
That's awesome.
Condensation. So this is a closed terrarium. Open terrariums are what you see with succulents and cacti.
Okay.
They don't like the humidity. So a lot of our indoor plants or tropical plants.
What is this?
So this is a fern.
Okay.
So we know ferns, low light. They like humidity. Air plants are very popular as well. You'll see those throughout all these terrariums. They like the humidity. They pull the moisture from the air.
Air plant pull. You don't water an air plant?
Well, you can. We dunk it in the water, but it doesn't have any roots.
Oh.
So it pulls.
You guys are bringing all kinds of crazy
so it pulls moisture from the
humidity
humidity in the air.
Okay.
And so there's layering that we need to do. All right. We need to create a drainage media. So the white at the bottom is called perlite. Okay. Some people will use gravel. I kind of steer away from that because I don't want to put gravel in glass.
Okay, so perlite.
Right. The next one is called horticultural charcoal. And you can buy this at a lot of your nurseries. The charcoal helps neutralize toxins or bacteria. It also helps with odor.
Okay.
And then the next layer is an optional. It's called sheet moss. I don't always do sheet moss. What that does is it keeps the charcoal and the soil separate. But then we need to add our soil.
Denise, agree with the sheet moss?
Yes.
Okay, you're on board with that? All right.
I'm on board with that.
Any potting soil will work.
So is this
so if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can use that, or you can also
just dump it in like
you can do that. Or if you're just getting started, you can dump a good amount of it into the terrarium as well. Try to steer away from a lot of the potting soils that have that moisture control in it.
I feel like I want this to be a cooking show, but it's not.
That has moisture control because it can hold too much moisture in there. And then, for example, on this one, plants, you can buy a lot of different decorative stuff. Like I showed you, I have the frogs in those. We're going to get our plant down into that soil really well. Kind of put the soil around it. We might need a little bit more.
That already looks beautiful, though.
Yeah.
It's very.
And so it doesn't have to be. A lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to mix my plants. I don't know textures, things like that. You don't have to. It can be one plant.
Yes.
So, for example, we're doing one plant, and then water is key to this.
Okay.
To all
this
plants.
is going to be a closed one because we brought a lid, right?
Right.
Okay.
I like to use rainwater for those people who are not harvesting rainwater.
Like to use rainwater. I know. Why wouldn't you use rainwater?
Distilled water. Try to stay away from the tap water. We'll get that sodium and
stuff?
we'll get all that buildup on the inside we don't want.
Okay.
And what I do,
45 seconds to finish this guy off.
Yep. So I use my hand and it kind of rinses the glass as well after you've done all this media in there.
Okay.
So put a good amount of soil in, close the lid, and if you want a bright window, not direct sunlight, and you'll build up humidity like you see in some of these other ones. If you aren't building up humidity, you might need to keep adding a little bit of water.
So you're telling me that now you never have to put water in here again? This is
once
going to
we
be
built up
its own
enough
ecosystem
water
in there?
Yes.
Really?
It's creating its own water cycle inside the jar.
Where do you keep your terrarium at your house?
Well, that one actually comes from the office. I've had that in my office and now in our new building.
You just show out. You like to show up. Look at my terrarium. I haven't put water in 4 years.
Yeah. And I did a video on this one right here. So for those people who forget this, we have a great video on YouTube. You can go follow as well.
Okay, thanks for being here. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you.
Go out, go home, and if you're at home right now, just go outside and get all your terrarium needs and make it. It's a good day to make a terrarium, right?
Yes.
Make sure your irrigation system is off.
Irrigation off. Build a terrarium. We'll be right back.